can you tell us how you and David met and how he proposed?
Okay, so this meeting, that's a fun story. Okay, so it was a writers' conference for all makers. I'm at my table, I'm selling my books, making my spiel. Step right up, step right up. I got these hot, fresh books right here. You want one? You want one? He comes up, he's looking at my books. And on the back of my book, I've got the state where I live, East Texas. And he's like, East Texas? Where in East Texas? I'm like, Longview. He's like, I'm not that far away from you. I'm like, I'm in Austin. I'm not one of the weird ones. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, have you heard about my brother? His brother's Thomas Umstattd. He's a name in the thing. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard about your brother. What are you doing for dinner?
Right.
And I'm like, my brain goes blank. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have dinner plans at the moment. And he's like, can I take you out to dinner? I'm like, let me check my schedule. And so he goes off, and I stalk him on the internet, and eventually he comes back to my table. And he's like, so, are we good for dinner? And I'm like, sure, let's go, because that was
You
free
seem
food.
safe.
Um, and so we had our first date where I talked nonstop, because that's what you do on a date, right?
Of course.
And as we're coming back, it was one of the other attendees of the conference had seen us, and he's like, so was that you just having dinner, or was that like a date? And David and I had not really discussed, was it a date, but he had gotten my number. So I was like, you got my number, sir. and it's the closest thing to a date I've ever been on, so it counts. And he's like, that's the closest thing you ever been to a date? And so he's like, I'm gonna have to come over there and give you a proper date. So he comes a month later, makes the drive. It's a 4-hour drive.
Whoa.
4-hour drive. We go putt-putt golfing, eat some Chinese, and then my mom had made this envelope of questions for us to just ask over the course of the day. And we got through most of the envelope, asking all sorts of weird stuff. And we have a great first date, second date. And he goes home, and he's, oh, that was wonderful. You're amazing. I didn't expect to like you so much.
Oh, wow.
And we continue chatting for a week. And then he says, I gotta call you and tell you something serious, and I don't think I can do the distance. So
Wait, you said that or he said that?
he did. And he just ended things, but I knew he would come back. And it took 1.5 years, last Christmas. He just starts texting me again. I'm like, he had been texting me on and off. Like, the next year I'd gone to the conference, and his book was on like a big sign. I'm like, oh, it's your book.
That's
Because
awesome.
his cover designer is like really big in at that conference. And that was the one he was like advertising with. It's a great cover. He starts chatting with me again last December, and he goes, are you mad at me? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, did I spend a whole day crying in back drive through? Because I worked at McDonald's at the time. It's crying in back drive through the day after? Yes, I did. But I'm not mad at you. And he's like, okay. And we start chatting a lot more frequently again. And then he's like, I should come see you. I should come see you. I should come see you. And I said, yes, you should come see me. Yes, you should come see me. And then I'm like, I've got a birthday. And he's like, and this time, instead of making the 4-hour trip twice in one day,
Yikes, that is too much. Even for an American, I'm sure.
instead of making that 4-hour trip twice in one day, he came in, spent Saturday afternoon, got a hotel, and then came to church with me the next morning.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And it was great. And before he went back home, I made sure to ask if that meant he was my boyfriend now, and he said yes.
That cover, that we were talking about. Here it is. I'll just share it. There we go. Pilgrim's Progress Reloaded. Absolutely love what he says here. The Pilgrim's Progress is a classic story of redemption, allegory. I never know how to say that word. Allegory and theological poignance that has profoundly impacted millions of readers over 3 centuries and changed the landscape of English literature forever. It's also a story with a total lack of robots, space marines, or talking platypuses. So we fixed that. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And his bio is almost as good. Not as good. Almost as good as Kendra's.
Yeah.
Here, you probably just scrolled down to this bit as you were drawn by the terrifying picture of David, shocked by the ruthless rage emanating from his cold, dead eyes. A clear image of the violent thirst for vengeance infesting David's soul that will never be quenched until the world is free from the tyranny of monsters, evildoers, and soccer enthusiasts. Oh my gosh, it's never going to be free of soccer enthusiasts, so we're in trouble. How are you not scared of him?
Because he's a big soft teddy bear.
Yeah, he looks like it in his picture.
And that's actually what I call him. He's my bear. So yeah.
That's really cute. I love that.